Hey everyone, thank you so much for choosing to join this session today during Influitive Live. My name is Sarah Schreiner. I am a Senior Client Experience Insights Analyst at ADP. And why I'm here today is because I really have this idea that we all have one thing in common. No matter the size of your organization or your industry or your location, we could all benefit from leveraging more insights from our clients throughout their journey with our individual organizations. I'm here today to share what we've learned through our advocate marketing program at ADP that's been around for over 5 years now, to share what we've learned about how client insight can add true business value and how you as an advocate marketer can really help your business thrive with client-centric decision-making. So here's the whole thought for our conversation today, is that you as an advocate marketer have an opportunity and a responsibility to connect your advocates, your clients, to your business. So these are things like connecting your product team, your client success team, training, research, the list goes on and on and on. But what I'll ask you to consider as we work through the next 20 minutes or so together is think about where in your business, outside of sales, outside of marketing, where can they really benefit from hearing more of what your clients have to say? I wanted to share too a really high-level journey, client journey, and also journey for our conversation today. I want you to think about your advocate's life cycle with your organization. For us, it looks a little bit something like this, again, at a really high level, but you start with a brand new client who is new to your organization, new to your solution, to your product. They move as they get more comfortable into developing opinions and ideas about how things work, how they work with your organization, the type of value that you add. And at a certain point, they also begin to wonder what's next for them. Are they going to stay on the solution? Is it time for an upgrade? Is it time to go to RFP and look for something else? Once they decide to stay with your organization, here's when they really dig in to understand their offering. And then, of course, this far right is where the actualized state of your clients making the most of their solution with you. And you'll see underneath there's opportunities in each of these different phases for your advocate marketing program, your advocate community, to add unique value outside of just the marketing function alone. As you think about your brand new clients, you have the opportunity to deliver an onboarding experience. As you think about clients kind of moving through this life cycle with you, you have the chance to connect them to formal research opportunities, to product pilots, to user testing, to supporting product adoption, which we'll talk about later is so important in terms of loyalty and in terms of keeping your clients around. And also the value of informal research too as you go along and as these clients become more invested partners in your organization. So as I said, this is a roadmap for our conversation today, and we'll walk through each of these different opportunities for you to add value as an advocate marketer through your community. The first is in new client onboarding. You've ever spoken to me before about advocacy, you know that I'm a huge proponent of opening advocacy programs and communities to all clients, not just your happiest. Whether your organization has a really long and complicated implementation or onboarding process, or it's a little bit simpler, you have this opportunity in front of you because a positive onboarding experience we've found can often lead to increased client loyalty and increased satisfaction later on in the life cycle. So what we've learned within our organization is that this implementation and onboarding experience has really lasting effects on the relationship that we have with each of our clients. This is also a huge opportunity to capitalize on the excitement and the joy that your new clients are feeling from the sales cycle, and really to bring that energy into their first few months with your organization. Where I want to spend a bulk of our time, and you'll see this in every single section, is sharing how I think you can put this into action like tomorrow or like this afternoon. So you'll see a lot of kind of actionable ideas and next steps. For onboarding, the most important one is to get to know your implementation and your onboarding team and understand what their goals are so that you can see where you fit in and where you can fit your advocates in and develop a program around it to really support their initiatives and their goals. I did this a few years ago and really got to know our implementation team to build an onboarding experience within our advocate community. For us, their goals at the time were to incentivize clients to attend meetings and to complete trainings and to fill out specific forms and really participate actively in the implementation with our team. But they also were looking for feedback along the way as well. So talk to your implementation team, understand, what's going to be most beneficial, where are they having trouble and sticking points today, and where you might be able to help make a difference. You can also support marketing through this onboarding function. Think about testimonials about the onboarding experience. Think about public feedback like online reviews once your clients are onboarded and enjoying the solution. And also think about the value as an advocate marketer of bringing more and more clients into your advocate community really early on in their journey so that later on when you do have a bunch of marketing needs, you have a larger base of clients that you can go to get some of those filled. Another unique opportunity in your onboarding experience is to really introduce your organization to your new clients. So this is your chance to share things like your core values, the benefits of joining with your company versus another, and really reiterating a lot of what your clients heard during the sales cycle. So you have a consistent message and reinforcing that your clients made the best decision possible in choosing to work with your organization. So my big word to the wise here is to partner with your implementation team or your onboarding team to understand where there are sticking points, what their goals are, and where you might help. And then within your advocate community, even ask your existing advocates what they may have wanted to know or needed to know as they were onboarding, and then start to deliver resources that can make a difference in this phase of the journey. As they move along, there becomes more and more value and benefit of engaging your clients in formal research as well. So once you have them in the program, make sure that you're hearing them out. I'll ask you to take a second and reflect. Who speaks to your clients for research today? How do they reach your clients, and how often? I'll ask you to get to know your research team. That could be a client experience team like the one I'm on today. It could be a user experience team. It could be specific roles in your client success team that are charged with getting to know what your clients want and need out of your solution. But understand where those roles exist and understand if they could use a little bit of help. I share this diagram. I hate this diagram, but this is really what our team was going through to get any sort of client feedback prior to our advocate community getting involved. This is really inefficient. As you can see, the steps on the left, our researchers were having to use email, having to mine through client lists, and really like a lot of hope and prayer that they would even get responses, which of course makes for an inefficient process internally and kind of a poor, disjointed client experience as well. Super manual too. But what you can do is, as your advocate marketer, is step in and provide a more concierge service to your research partners by reaching out, understanding what their goals and needs are, and then filling in and helping them identify clients who are great fits for client research. I'll encourage you to consider creating some structure behind this and setting expectations with your internal partners. This could look like you need a couple days, however many days that you need, between your research team reaching out with an opportunity that they want to put in front of your advocate and when they get a response back, for instance, from you, or when they can expect to get clients back. Once you set those expectations, though, you must also deliver internally. I found that your research team can be some of the biggest evangelists for your advocate marketing community because it takes a lot off their plate and it really simplifies their process of a really key component of their job. and also support your clients with this consistent, cohesive experience. I learned, it hurt my heart, it would hurt yours too, that oftentimes their research partners wouldn't send thank you notes or wouldn't really follow up with a client after they had just spent an hour together. So you have the chance to, within a community that you have in Influitive, to follow up and to really provide this consistent, on-brand experience for your advocates that invest a little bit more time and speak with you as well. I think that's really important. As you go along here, especially with your research team and in ongoing engagements, in our program, we would see, a handful of these come through a month. Make sure that you're continuing to track each time that you support the partner and ask them how much time they estimate that working with you saves them. So what we learned in that diagram before with my colleague Tristy Shanka is that before using our advocate community, it would take 9 touch points internally to secure one client for one research opportunity, which really inefficient, took a lot of time, many hours, and that correlates directly to time savings, cost savings, because now it only takes them one touch point to reach out to our admin and then to receive, their list of clients back pretty quickly. So make sure that you're tracking that. That's going to be really important as we get to the end in terms of talking about the value of your program and the value that you're driving for your organization. As your clients move through, they've gotten comfortable in your solution, they've started to provide some feedback, they feel like their voice is heard, it may be time for some of them to take this opportunity to the next level with product pilots and product testing. Similar to research, it can oftentimes be really difficult for your product team to identify clients that are a great fit for pilots. As you may know, being part of a pilot does require a time commitment from your client because we want to get feedback generally, and they're trying out something new. So your advocates often are a wonderful population to go to offer up these pilots. It's an exclusive opportunity. It's something new and exciting. Like I said, through the life cycle, they're starting to kind of wonder what's next. And here's your chance to say, we have something that's coming and we really want you to be a part of it. So here, in order to do this really well, targeting is critical. Make sure you get the right opportunities in front of the right clients based on the product that they have, based on their role within their own organizations, but also get a little bit creative on how you target these opportunities. Say your product team comes to you and says, we need 10 clients to start a pilot for a new feature, and we want it to last through the rest of the summer. And we want them to attend 2 sessions, one to learn about it at the beginning, one to get feedback at the end. Think about your advocates and think about who you see as really engaged, who you see as being really excited to be part of something like this versus those that may not be. And you can use targeting wisely to your advantage there as well. As I kind of shared just now, the expectations are also really important. And this is your chance to push back on your product team if they come to you without really clear expectations on what the pilot might look like, is to say, I'm happy to help you out, but let's think through what it is that we're really asking of these clients before we put the question out in front of them. And again, this is your chance to continue to be an advocate for your own advocates internally and ensure a better client experience. Once you have those expectations, when you put the offer out there, make sure you're really clear on what this is going to entail. And this is a great way to weed out, like I said, the people that are really excited to be part of a pilot and those that you don't necessarily have the time or energy to dedicate to doing it really well. And then one of my favorite parts is the opportunity to use gamification, use rewards within your community to encourage, incentivize engagement throughout the pilot. That to me is a really interesting part of these advocate communities, is that you can continue to incentivize good behavior on these opportunities and resources that are really important. So similar to onboarding, it could be things like attending those 2 sessions, for instance. It could be, we did one time At the end of every week, my product partner would send me a report of who used the new feature, and we would perk them some additional points. You can get creative on how you can leverage your community to really build engagement throughout the pilot as well. Product adoption is another one I think that doesn't come to mind as often as you think about your advocate community, but it's something that is so, so important. We learned from Gainsight that product adoption is the core of customer success, and it is so important to pay close attention to user adoption to eliminate churn and improve retention. So if you're not thinking about adoption today, I encourage you to really start to think about it and how your advocate community might help support product adoption. I want to give you one example of something we did to support adoption of our ADP mobile phone app in partnership with marketing. So in our organization, our advocate community sits outside of marketing, sits in client experience, that we partner really closely with our marketing team. We built out an experience in Infuse really specific to adopting the app, to understanding what it is, to understanding taking training, giving feedback. We even had a testimonial opportunity here to provide, like I said, a really cohesive adoption experience, and really happy to share that in partnership with marketing, this had some really, really positive impact on the stats and on the adoption user numbers that we were looking at for the app specifically. So partner, we didn't have to build any new resources here. We leveraged everything that marketing had already created, but we had the opportunity to amplify it in front of an advocate audience who was really ready to consume it and provide their feedback. Consider here who within your company is responsible for adoption. For us, it looks mostly like these three in addition to our product team. Think about how you can support marketing. Can you amplify any materials that they're already working on? Can you get their work in front of a larger crowd or a different crowd? Client success oftentimes has responsibility or is gold on product adoption. So here's an opportunity to build your network within client success, speak with some of the leaders and understand what things are working well and where they have challenges with adoption that you may be able to support with content or with campaigns or opportunities within your advocate community. And then also consider the impact of product adoption on sales, especially as you think about your advocates. You can look for testimonial content. You can also look for really vocal references. Sales can generally benefit from a few advocates, a few references that will specifically talk about one feature or one part of the functionality, and you can identify these straight through your program, incentivize and reward them as well along the way. So make sure that you're not discrediting adoption as a really, really important component of your relationship with your client, and also, excuse me, a chance for you to make a difference. Now, finally, your client has kind of moved through, they've joined, they've adopted your product, they've given some feedback along the way. I also want to call out the value of informal research, and I'll ask these questions again a little bit differently in an ongoing basis. On the day-to-day for your clients that have been with you for years. For instance, who speaks with them and how do they reach them and how often, and how can you do better? This isn't a call to over-survey your clients, but it is a call to do so thoughtfully. Decisions are made every single day at your organization about what your clients want, about what your clients need. So why not make those decisions with your clients' input at the heart of them? I think this one for last because to me it's the most important, and it really spans your entire organization and is an ongoing effort for you as long as you're a part of advocacy within your organization. You have the opportunity and the responsibility to influence decision-making by bringing your advocates along for the ride. Evangelize your program throughout the business, just like you do in external marketing. Tell the business value story that you've been driving and building with your partners in research and product and client success, as we've gone through the client lifecycle, tell that journey, and also be prescriptive on what you can offer in terms of informal and ongoing research. Make sure that your partners across your organization understand that you have this collection of clients, of advocates, of people who are engaged with you and who want to see your organization grow and thrive and are willing to share their input and their feedback in order to make a difference. The flip side of this too is to poke holes in the way that you're doing business today. So look around and consider where decisions are made, where big changes are happening, and how and if they include any sort of client feedback and insight. And your chance here is to speak with your leader or leaders within your organization and say, you know, I see that we changed our service model recently. If I could deliver 20 clients that wanted to speak with you about the service model and what they like and don't like, would you be interested? And more often than not, your leaders are going to want to bring client insight into their decision making, but they may just not know exactly how to, or it may not feel easy to them right away. So here is your big chance, right, to connect those clients, to be that conduit and to help support that change within your organization. Now, if you're doing all of this really well, this part is obviously most critical of measuring value and success. So we'll spend our last couple minutes together here. If you're ready to take what we've shared today and run with it, I wanted to give you a little roadmap of how you can do it starting this afternoon, starting tomorrow, starting next week. First things first, of mapping your potential partners. So understand how your departments are broken down within your organization and who could benefit from client feedback. And I recommend making this a really long and exhaustive list. Think about learning, think about sales, marketing, product, client success, all of those different facets of your organization, whether or not they work directly with your clients today. So look at the departments, also kind of figure out who you might be able to speak with or meet with within those departments to share this story. As you have that ready, build a pitch deck. So think about, you know, your 15, 20-minute presentation about your advocate community. This should include things like demographics of the type of client you have within your community, how long they've been with you, what their average net promoter score is, and also the types of engagements that you can help support. So make it really clear at the beginning what you're offering and how you can do it. And then spend a ton of time over the next few months sharing this with everyone that you can. So think back to that list of partners, start booking your meetings, and really get in front of people throughout your organization to help share this story. And I can almost guarantee you that if you do this well, you'll need to be prepared and organized, because requests for feedback, for challenges, for clients, and insight will come flowing in through your inbox, through your door. So being organized and kind of prepared is really important here. And then also delivering. So you go to your product team and say, I can help you with pilots, and I want to help you with pilots. You better be organized and prepared that when product comes, that you can deliver, you know, clients to participate in your pilot. So the delivering is really important. And then continuing to measure the value that you're driving and the success that you're seeing in your program as well. And there have been plenty of sessions this week about these two, so I won't go into too much detail, but I do want you to consider these metrics on the left-hand side, which are more non-traditional, but all about how your program is driving value for your business as a whole. Think about the number of engagements that you're supporting for each department, the number of clients that you have engaged in each department, and the time that you're saving for your business partners. I think I said this earlier in research, but for every engagement that you do, every challenge that you open for a partner, make sure that you're asking, how much time is this saving you? Or what would you have done differently if this program didn't exist? How would you have gotten in touch with these clients? And this is a huge opportunity for you to track and measure quantitative value that you're driving. And I'll also encourage you to think about the bigger metrics, but do so wisely to not really diminish your credibility as well. There certainly are connection points for advocacy to NPS, to retention, But I'll encourage you to just do so thoughtfully and stay away from those more blanket statements because these can be a little bit trickier. But we've seen a lot of value instead of trying to attribute certain big metrics to our advocacy program. We've seen a lot of benefit from being really specific on what exactly we're doing and how that's helping to support our business. And I'll leave you at this call to continue to thrive, continue to build this industry, our industry. Remember that as an advocate marketer, you have an opportunity and a responsibility to become a conduit for thoughtful, client-centered change and decision-making within your organization. And with your advocate community in place, you really have the power to start doing so right now. Thank you so much. I look forward to answering your questions and hope you have a wonderful rest of your conference.
Now that the presentation's done, guess what? It's Q&A time. Start asking the questions below.